All right, so video 2 of our continuing unit on rational numbers, integers, positive, negative numbers. So today we're going to look at comparing and ordering integers. When I say compare and order, I mean tell which one's greater, which one's less. All right, compare them. Look at the two, see which one is bigger or smaller, essentially. Two tips to look at when we're comparing and ordering. And really this first one is one that I really want to impress upon you and really want you to use. Even if you think, I know this, let's go ahead and put that visual there, because math is very visual, and being able to see it kind of helps you, put the big picture together and make sure you're not making any mistakes. So use a number line to help you compare. So go ahead and just draw out a number line and kind of graph those points. So that was something we talked about in the last video, is just put a dot where the number is and write that number. And then you kind of have a visual representation where all the numbers are on the number line. And then using that, you can kind of say, okay, what's the order? And the farther left you go, the smaller the numbers. So the further left, the smaller the number on the number line. So you look for that number that's on the farthest left, and you know your smallest number. Farther right, the bigger the number. Okay? And that's the main way that can help you visualize and see that. And you can put all the numbers in order, and you don't get yourself confused. Because sometimes when you're looking at all these negative and positive numbers, your brain just kind of mixes them all up, and you start to go, oh, wait a second, which one's right, which one's left, which one's bigger, which one's smaller. And if you use that number line, okay, it takes just an extra couple of seconds. If you'll use that number line, it eliminates that chance for an error maybe. So let's look at this one. Let's take negative 16 and negative 15. Okay? Now, at first glance, you might go, okay, well, 16 is bigger than 15, so I would say that this is greater than. Okay? Or if you're familiar with negative numbers, you might realize what's going on here. But let's take the number line, okay, and we're going to graph them on the number line. All right, so here's my number line. And I'm going to, let's see, here's going to be 0. And since both of my numbers are in negatives, I know that everything is going to be on the left of 0 on my number line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 4, 5. I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12. That's negative 5 and negative 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, negative 15, which means right there is negative 16. So if I was going to graph these, I'd say, okay, well, here is negative 16, and here is negative 15. So going back to what we said a second ago, the further left on the number line, the smaller the number. Okay? Think about it if you were over here and you were counting backwards. You'd be going 3, 2, 1. Everything's getting smaller. Well, that pattern continues on into negatives. Even though it looks like the value is getting bigger, it's a smaller number. So we would say that negative 16, since it is further left, is smaller than negative 15, so we would use a less than sign. And when I say compare, I mean you're going to say, is it greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Okay? Or you might even say it's equal to. Okay? So these are kind of the things that we'll use. And if we look at this, negative 16 is less than negative 15. Because of its placement on the number line, we can see that. Let's take one more of those. Okay? Compare 5 and negative 5. Now, if you have just two numbers and one's positive and one's negative, it should, just flashing lights, screaming at you, the positives are always bigger than negatives. Okay, I mean, that should scream out to you right now. Positives are bigger than negatives. But just so we can kind of make sure that we see the visual, see the left, see the right, we're going to go ahead and do the number line anyways. All right, so real quick, there's my number line. I'm going to put 0 in the middle, and I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, graph it. Now I need negative 5, that's to the left of 0, 2, 3, 4, negative 5, graph it. Okay, and I can see that 5 is to the right of negative 5. To the right means greater, so I would use a greater than symbol. 5 is greater than negative 5. Now, let's take a couple extra numbers. Okay, we'll put 3 numbers in there. Order from least to greatest. Well, again, I see one that should just scream at us again. All right, there's that screaming 5 because that's the only positive number. So I should have a good indication of where the 5 is going to go in my list from least to greatest. But graph it. Okay. Put 0 here. Again, 0 doesn't always have to go in the middle, but it kind of fits for what we're doing right here. Okay, I'm going to graph 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to graph -2. Negatives are to the left of 0. And I'm going to graph -4. So there's -1, -2, -3, and -4. All right, now, if I'm going to order them from least to greatest, that means I need to start at the far left, and the first number I see is -4, comma, the next number is -2, and there's that 5 that should have been screaming at us already that it was going to be the greatest. Okay, so there's my order from least to greatest, -4, -2, and 5. I look to see what's to the farthest left. That's always going to be the smallest. Always going to be the smallest. Oh, I lost my board there. All right, last one. Order from greatest to least. So we just flipped the order that we're going to do it. Okay, greatest to least. And again, there's a screaming 5 at us because it's the only positive number. That should indicate to us that it's probably going to be the biggest out of this list. Okay, or it's going. If we had more than one positive number, we could start to look there. But positives are always bigger than negatives. Always. All right, so let's do a number line. I'm going to do my number line underneath it here. Okay, just a little bit bigger. Okay, but let's see. I only have one number in the positives, and it's 5. So I'm going to start 0 down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5. All right, now I need to get -15 and -22. So here goes -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, -9, -10. Mark that. -11, -12, -13, -14, -15. There it is, right there. And then -16, -17, -18, -19, -20, -21. Is that right? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. There's -22. Right there. Plot that point. Okay. And again, it wanted greatest to least. So greatest means I need to go all the way to the right of the number line. All the way to here. So the first number I see is 5. And then I go left because as I want to start getting smaller, and I look for the next number I graphed, -15. And then I look for the next number I graphed, -22. All right. So there's comparing and ordering integers. Use a number line. Okay. Same thing when we get to comparing and ordering rational numbers as well. That number line helps you to get a visual and to know where all the numbers are placed. Remember, left, less. Okay. Farther left, the less the number is. Farther right, the greater the number. And that's your biggest hint and your biggest help when you're comparing and ordering integers and rational numbers. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.